Breaking news on a Thursday afternoon surrounding the Miami Dolphins. Just in from Adam Schefter, the Fins might be trading tight end Jonnu Smith, the lone Pro Bowler from the 2024 roster on the Dolphins, one of the better offensive players and overall players, wants a rework deal, and Miami allegedly is not willing to give it to him. Here is what Adam Schefter said when he broke the news. The Dolphins have had trade discussions with the Pittsburgh Steelers about their lone Pro Bowl selection last season, tight end Jonnu Smith. Those talks came after Smith expressed an interest in reworking his deal that is scheduled to pay him $4.8 million this season. With Smith seeking a new contract, Miami has sought a trade partner. Last season, Smith set the franchise record for tight end in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Smith's preference, per sources, is to stay in Miami under a rework deal. Holy crap. I would like to use another word after holy, but I can't do that on a YouTube show. But are we serious? Like, the first reaction I had when I read this, I was like, are we the biggest disaster of an organization in the NFL? Seriously, haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. One of your best players who had a breakout year in Jonnu Smith is wanting to be paid a little bit more than $4.8 million? Oh, whoopee. Is he asking for 3 years, 30? I don't think so. Maybe he is. I don't know. But if he's just asking for a little bit of a pay bump, why not give it to him? You have $13 million in cap space. We'll have $23 million cap space once you inevitably trade Jalen Ramsey. Are we just in the business of trading our best players? Seriously. Why are we doing this? And the one player that Miami should trade after June 1st, Tyreek Hill, they're not going to do it. I just don't understand why Miami would not be willing to pay Jonnu Smith. I get it. He's 30 years old, and you don't know how much longer he has. But in terms of him just coming into your offense and being a dominating force, a good locker room guy, year one right away, he wants to be in Miami. He just wants to get paid a little bit more, which I don't see that being a problem considering how actually good he was last season. Now, is Jonnu Smith in the business of sitting out if he doesn't get a rework deal? I don't think so because he's not that good. So maybe Miami calls his bluff. I just don't see the point. I don't see the upside of trading Jonnu Smith whatsoever. And I'm just not here for it. Continued conversation here in a second. But this is why you subscribe. We always advertise that when Dolphins news drops, we will have you covered. Daily basis too. Videos every single day. Join the channel and subscribe for more around the Miami Dolphins. If you can't tell how I feel about this is just so dumb. It really is. This is the type of shit, excuse my language, that just makes me question why I still root for this football team. Seriously, I don't want to make this a hissy fit over Jonnu Smith because there's been worse decisions out there. And Jonnu's a great player, but is he someone where I should just be losing my mind over? No, but that's the exact point of me feeling this way. The Miami Dolphins and a player like Jonnu Smith shouldn't be having this type of discussions about $4.8 million and then saying oh, you want more than that because you had one of the best seasons in franchise history, if not the best. It actually is the best, by the way, for a tight end, and we don't want to pay you a little bit more. As I mentioned, what could he possibly be asking for in terms of a rework deal that would make you not willing to pay it? If he's just asking for one more year on his contract, that can't be bad enough to add it. It can't. Yeah, I know. He's 30 years old. We'll mention that a couple times in today's show. But if he's asking just one more year on his deal, it's a rework contract where you get more money this season and then an added year next year with a lower price tag or just about the same, why would that be a bad thing? In all seriousness, why would it be? He was so good last year. As Adam Schefter notes, as I'll note right here, he set the Dolphins single-season franchise record for receptions with 88, receiving yards with 884 for a tight end. I know Mike McDaniel doesn't utilize his tight ends that much and to the highest degree. It's been one of the biggest knocks we had on him in 2022 with Mike Gesicki, 2023 with Durham Smythe, Julian Hill. But you bring in Jonnu Smith, You see how well a tight end could benefit in this offense if he's able to block, if he's able to work over the middle of the field, and be able to be a good yards after catch guy. We saw how helpful that is to Tua, to whatever quarterback is playing. He was one of the most heavily featured and targeted players on the roster last year. If you look at the team, the most targeted players, it goes Tyreek Hill, Jonnu Smith, and Devon Achane. And now you're just going to throw away your second target guy of last year because he wants a little bit more than $4.8 million? Tell me how that makes sense. It just doesn't. And you can't justify, in my mind, you getting angry at Jonnu Smith. Because think about this, and just put yourself in his shoes. If you are getting paid, let's just bring it down to normal analogies, right? $60,000 a year for your current job. But you bring in $100K that first year. And you're like, well, you know what? Next year, instead of being paid $60K again, I want $80K. You're still making a $20K profit, but I deserve to be paid a little bit more because I brought in way more than expected. My value is way higher than y'all thought when y'all hired me, right? You would want that. So to me, I can't blame Jonnu Smith for this. It's cheap. You have the cap space if you're Miami to just up his money a little bit. It's not like you're breaking the bank with a $20 million contract extension. And if you knew it was heading this way, why didn't you try to address it in the draft? They didn't draft a tight end. They could have taken Tyler Warren. Some people who think a generational prospect at 13. I like Kenneth Grant, not going to be mad at that pick. But if you knew it was heading this way with Jonnu, I maybe would have probably thought about taking Tyler Warren there at 13. Or maybe taking a better tight end in the second round like a Mason Taylor. Like, to me, I just don't understand the thought process of the Miami Dolphins on this one. If you can't tell, I'm fired up here, not happy about this news whatsoever. I think it's unreal. What was your one-word reaction to the Jonnu Smith news, whether you saw it on our YouTube short, you saw it on our thumbnail, our title, or if you followed me on Twitter and saw my initial reaction? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I mean, I'm shocked. I guess that would be mine, like stunned, whatever, like, what's the word? Synonym you want to use? There we go. I was able to find it. But another reason why this is just such an unmitigated disaster for the Dolphins if they ultimately trade Jonnu Smith is because how bad their tight end room is outside of Jonnu. As we're currently filming this, it would be the worst tight end room in the NFL without second thought. You just plop Jonnu off this group, you have to rely on Julian Hill, Pharaoh Brown, and Tanner Connor as your top guys with 2024 UDFA Hayden Hurst, and then UDFA Jalen Conyers as well from this past year. Like, how can you tell me that there is smart thinking in this organization right now? What's the plan at tight end if you trade Jonnu Smith? Now, maybe if you trade Jonnu, you go out and sign someone, you go out and trade for another tight end, but you just can't seriously tell me that it's a smart decision to trade Jonnu Smith. Like, really? It just isn't. It makes no sense. Now, I did mention the contract a little bit earlier. If you did trade Jonnu Smith, this is obviously the last year of his deal. $4.8 million cap hit is what was reported by Adam Schefter. He's 30 years old, so he's getting on the plus side of 30. A post-June 1st trade saves the Miami Dolphins $4.09 million in cap space. So if you traded Jonnu post-June 1st, you trade Jalen Ramsey post-June 1st, you would go from $13 million cap space right now to about $27, $28 million in cap space. But you still need to sign multiple corners. You need to sign, I think, more offensive line depth, maybe even a safety. And now you got to add tight end to that list? Like, tell me, and I just keep on harping on this. Why is this something Miami would even entertain? Like, if you showed me the report from Adam Schefter today that says Jonnu Smith is holding out from mandatory minicamp and plans to hold out in the training camp portion of the offseason and is not showing up to voluntary OTAs because he wants a new contract. If that's all that I got today in terms of Dolphins news, I'd be like, okay, I mean, that's fine. But the fact that that happened and then the Dolphins have already reportedly been working the phone seeking a trade partner, one being the Steelers, who we'll talk about here in a second, why are they so eager to just be like, yeah, Jonnu wants a new contract, okay, see ya? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. If there were better tight ends available on the free agent market, okay, but there isn't. Like, the top 5 free agent tight ends are available. Gerald Everett, CJ Uzomah, Hayden Hurst, our good old friend Jody Fortson, who got cut, by the way, during preseason last year. before the 53-man roster cutdowns, and then Jordan Akins. Like, these guys aren't starting caliber tight ends. The one that I would probably be intrigued with the most is Gerald Everett, and then I'd likely go Hayden Hurst at number 2. But these guys aren't starting caliber tight ends. You would go from having a top half tight end in football, a Pro Bowler last season, yeah, he was an alternate, but still a Pro Bowler, to having the worst tight end room in football. It just does not make sense. And maybe if they trade Jonnu Smith, they call up the Las Vegas Raiders and are like, hey, Michael Mayer, we knew there was rumors about you wanting to trade him earlier in the offseason. Y'all still want to do that? And then you'll trade for Michael Mayer. Like, sure, I wouldn't be that upset if you just replaced Jonnu with Mayer, but I still like Jonnu because he knows the offense, he knows the scheme, and he was really, really freaking good in this system just a season ago, dealing with inconsistency at the quarterback position with Tua out for 6 games. Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley going in and out of the lineup. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, to round out today's show, you saw Adam Schefter mention the Pittsburgh Steelers as a team that Miami has held conversations with already. That doesn't shock me one bit. Arthur Smith, who is the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, obviously is obsessed with Jonnu. Just think about the track history here, or the track record, I should say. Jonnu Smith's first couple of breakout seasons came in Tennessee with Arthur Smith as head coach. Well, that's not true. Never was the head coach over there. As the offensive coordinator with Mike Vrabel as head coach. Then he goes to New England. Doesn't work out. Then Jonnu Smith gets traded for with the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith's final year as the Falcons head coach. And now he would like to reunite with Jonnu Smith for the 3rd time in their careers in Pittsburgh. So it makes sense. I don't know what Jonnu Smith's trade value would be. I think I would have to guess a 6th-round pick. Like, this is a 30-year-old tight end that has got 1 year left on his deal. And you'd have to pay him because that's why he might even be traded in the first place. So if you get Jonnu Smith a trade, it's probably a 6th, 7th rounder. Hell, it might only just be a 7th round, 6th round pick swap. Like, you trade 7th and Jonnu for a 6th rounder. That's kind of where that's heading. Just can't believe that this is something that I have to talk about today on May 29th. It honestly just disgusts me, as you have not been able to tell, Dolphins fans. Just not happy about it whatsoever. But as I mentioned, this is why you subscribe to the channel, because we're dropping daily videos, and when Dolphins news breaks and we got rumors to talk about, we'll have you covered. If Jonnu Smith ultimately does get traded, we will break that down in full. We will also have a replacements video and more rumors around that tight end position. So if you want to stay up to date on everything Miami Dolphins, subscribe today.